hand if I am.
Yep.
Yes, Sai.
Fantastic.
Perfect.
So, hi, Navodaya, thanks. Thanks, Ronak. Okay, great. So, first of all, a big welcome to all of you to have joined us this Saturday morning. It's so great to have, our friends from the community with us. This is the first ever, dietech workshop that we're doing from the Type 1 Diabetes Foundation. And I'm really, really happy and proud that we're all doing this together today. Let me just quickly take you through who are we? Who is the Type 1 Diabetes Foundation? What is it that we do? And what are we doing together today? So we are a pan-India organization, and we're driven by persons living with Type 1 diabetes. So every single member of the Type 1 Diabetes Foundation of India is a person living with Type 1 diabetes, or is a parent, a caregiver, a spouse of a person living with diabetes. We're a registered charitable trust, so we're a non-profit. We are headquartered in Bangalore, and we have a great backstory. Last year, we had persons living with diabetes who were, either part of community or not a part of community all over India, who flew down to Bangalore to realize a single dream. We wanted to come together as one platform and one voice and kind of work together to bring about lasting change, to have a great quality of life for persons with diabetes. So we had people who flew in from Delhi, from Kolkata, from Gujarat, from Mumbai, and we were all there in Bangalore, from Chennai, from Tirunelveli, and from Kerala, and we made this happen. And we're really, really proud and happy that today we are here to share this dream with all of you. And who is basically the background team at T1DF? We are techies, we are entrepreneurs, we are lawyers, some of us are certified diabetes counselors, we are healthcare workers, and we are constantly exploring new areas and new ideas and new projects to work in type 1 diabetes. And we're completely voluntary. I mean, this is not a paid organization. This is a completely voluntary organization. And why do we do what we do? We do what we do so that persons like us, persons living with diabetes, have a superior quality of life, so that we have access to healthcare. And most importantly, our voices are heard with the regulators, with the powers that basically design and implement policy that impacts our life. So that's quickly, who we are. And let's quickly jump and dive right into and unpack what today is all about. Today is Night Scout 101, and we have this really cool presenter today. And I'm very proud to present Anirudh Reddy, who is going to be the man of the hour. And Anirudh Reddy is basically, he is an analytics professional. He works with SAP, but Anirudh is in the T1 circles a bit of a tech guru. He is one of the first, T1s who who threw his hat into the ring and started this thing called DIY Loop, which is quite a sensation. I mean, he kind of works in his own, I don't know how to describe it better. I think Anirudh will tell you, but DIY Loop is this DIY ecosystem where it's a sort of a precursor to an artificial pancreas. So that's Anirudh's claim to fame. He is our go-to person for all tech things in dietech things. And in other credentials, Anirudh is instrumental in setting up the T1 community in Bangalore, and he's a very, very popular face in the T1 runs. So, okay, now before I hand over the baton to Anirudh, who is going to completely make this our Paisa Vasool, some ground rules. We're going to be together for an hour. So right now it's about 11:10, which means Anirudh should be able to wrap up at 12:10. Standard protocol, since this is a webinar, as you guys are already familiar, please tend to keep your mics on mute so that the speaker can go on uninterrupted. In the hour that we have together, you can quickly click on the triangle icon in your screen, and you will see polls and question answers and all of that. So there'll be polls that Angad, one of our co-hosts, is going to put out together. Angad is also a tech professional. He's also a data professional, data analyst. And hi, Angad. So Angad is going to put out polls as well. And there is a Q&A button that you see there. So while Anirudh is talking, please feel free to put out all sorts of questions that you have in your head. In the end of the hour, Anirudh will come back and read your questions and answer them to you. If you stay back after 12:10, Anirudh will be happy to personally answer your questions as well. But we completely value your time. So at the end of the hour, you're most welcome to exit the session. On that happy note, I pass the baton to Anirudh. Have a great session, guys.
Thank you very much, Sai, and I hope you guys can hear me out. Right?
Can you guys hear me? Sai,
Yeah,
confirm?
yeah,
Yes. Yes,
Okay,
Yes,
sir.
you're
great.
audible
you're
and you're
audible.
visible.
Okay, great. So yes, guys, like I mean, I've been using this Night Scout from almost 2 years now. But like really speaking, the day I started, I didn't have a clue about it. I mean, really, this Night Scout thing has been available, like on the cloud since 2013, 2014, I would say. But even I haven't heard of it like for a long time. But once I came to know the benefits of it, then I started working on it, and I started creating my own server, understanding my own data, and it kind of helped me a lot, I would say. But yeah, again, like I was trying to explain other people who are my like T1 friends, uh, but it kind of sounded very complex to them, and I know quite a few people gave up, even including Sai. But then I was trying to look over internet, like are there any easy ways, how can we make it easy for the non-IT crowd? For me, yeah, I mean, the benefit was me being part of the IT crowd, like it made my life easier, a little bit easier. But so like when it comes to the non-IT background, I thought, like we need to have a good solution. And luckily, I found something, and I thought, like it would be a good time to share with many of you guys who are probably from the non-IT backgrounds. So yeah, let's get started. So this, I mean, here's the just high level agenda, what we are going to talk about. I'll get into the details, as much detail as possible on all these items we see here. So before we get started, I have a couple of questions to ask you guys. You guys should be able to see a pop-up on your screen, I guess, like, to answer a question. Uh, so have you guys already heard, are any of you already using Night Scout? There should be a poll already, just yes and no.
Yeah, people are entering it, answering it. We'll just wait 15 more seconds, 10 seconds. Guys, just please answer yes or no. Like, this is basically a feedback to see like our what our audience is like, whether how well aware are they with this. Okay, so I'll
All
end the
right,
poll.
I think we can end the poll. Yeah. Wow, okay. Just one yes and 12 no's. Okay, that's all right. I think probably after this call, we can see quite a few people who will be. So the next question is, have you guys ever tried setting up a Night Scout before? I know quite a few people, like, even including Sai, she tried setting it up, but at the end of the day, she gave up.
It was hard, you guys. Okay, you can type in the chat, you guys, if you haven't. Obviously, if you haven't used it before, you haven't set it up. But if you have you?
Just 5 more seconds, and then I'll just stop it. Stop the poll. Okay, three, two, one.
Yep. Let's get into one more question before we get the session started. Have you guys heard of Night Scout before? I mean, before this session, I would say, not like, well, there are quite a few essays I'm seeing now.
Nice. Simran says no.
All right. Angad, I think I'll get started. I think we can just end the polls there. And then, yeah, I mean, coming to Night Scout, let's just talk about what is Night Scout. So Night Scout has been, like, as I mentioned before, it has been there since 2013, 2014. So it initially started, like, one of the parent of a type 1. He was, like, worried about his son's blood glucose levels, who was in the school. He doesn't know what his blood glucose levels are, and he was constantly looking for options, what he can do, and all those things. During those days, even there were no Dexcom follower or no. I mean, these days, yeah, of course, these native apps have built the follower options and all these things. So he built his own website where, where he can get data from his son's Dexcom into the uh, web browser, basically. So, and he can, sitting in his office, he can look at his data, all those things. And then he made a public post of it, after a couple of months, if anyone else want to use it, you're most welcome. And then it all started as we are not waiting project. And a lot of people started pitching in, a lot of people started volunteering in, all these medical stuff generally, it takes a lot of time for the licensing uh, to happen. So instead of waiting for the licenses, people decided we are going to do it do it by ourselves. That's the main reason we call it as DIY project. And the community is constantly working on it since 2013 2014, and developing this on day by day basis. And yeah, majority of the people who are working on this are people living with diabetes or the caregivers, like parents, spouses. Again, the goal of the project was primarily for the remote monitoring, but today, there are quite a lot of features which are available. Even when I first read about Night Scout, I felt it's just remote monitoring. I'm an adult already. I don't want someone else to look at my readings. That's what my assumption was in the initial stages. And then I was like, I don't really need someone else to see my readings. I can look it up all the time. But then later I started understanding what other ways the remote glucose monitoring can be used for. So here, you see a couple of screenshots, and then I have mentioned few benefits here. So the first thing, of course, I'm talking is about remote glucose monitoring, which was the primary reason this whole Night Scout has started, right? So when I say remote glucose monitoring, of course, we see it on website, or we see it somewhere, right? I mean, your caregiver is seeing it somewhere. But look at this first screenshot over here. So I was doing a run, and I instead of looking up at my phone during the run, I can just look up at my watch and say this is my blood glucose reading. And strangely, if you see here, I finished my 5K, and then I was at 71 and I was dropping -6. So that was the time I realized, okay, I'm going low. I should stop my run and get my hypo treated. So if you have phone, you can't really look it up every 5 minutes or every 10 minutes. Again, I mean, there are some limitations for this. It works real time only if you have a device which is transmitting data into your phone, something like Mayo or Bubble. But yeah, again, there are some other ways as well. So I'll give you an example of GLIMP. I know many of our users here are using GLIMP. So there is an example which a parent was talking to me about, was even with the GLIMP, he uses Night Scout. And this was an year back when the schools were all operating and all these things, a year or more. So he instructed the teacher to scan the glucose levels every once in an hour, so that he gets an idea what his blood glucose levels were for the past 1 hour. And then if no action is needed, he would not call the teacher. But if there is some weird trend, if he sees glucose levels going high or glucose levels coming low, then he would call up the teacher and say please take this action. So and also, again, one more thing, you see this one more screenshot here, the third one, which is basically giving me an idea about I mean, it might be small for you guys to look up this thing, but I can set my own KPIs here. I'm seeing my estimated A1C for the last 90 days, but I want to see the standard deviation just for one day. So I'm concerned about setting it up for one day, and then what is my time in range for the last 90 days. You can customize the way you want to. This is a do-it-yourself project, so end of the day, like, you can customize the way you want to. And the second benefit about Night Scout is, like, you can enter lot of data. I mean, initially it started as a remote glucose monitoring, but as I mentioned, like, there are a lot of things added into the Night Scout over the period of time. And if you see the second screenshot over here, like, I have lot of data. You can, I mean, maybe you might not be familiar about it, but here, looking at this screenshot, I can say what is my current basal rate, what were my previous, I mean, how much bolus I have uh, taken in the last couple of hours, and also, like, few details related to my pump, how many units of insulin is remaining in the reservoir, what is my pump battery age. Again, like, this gets a bit complicated at the end, like, to have all these settings. But like, today we are going to mainly concentrate about getting our blood glucose data into our Night Scout. And yeah, maybe going forward, we can do more sessions and then, like, make it look something like this, right? So coming into the benefits, like, as I was talking, like, I mean, we have already talked about a couple of benefits here, right? And like, the more benefits you can think of is, like, create reports for yourself. So you can create reports and, like, analyze your own data. And first thing, like, when you, for example, I guess most of the users here use either Libre Pro or Libre, right? So when we finish our 14-day cycle, at most we get reports for 14 days, right? Like, when we connect it to the PC, we just get 14 days of readings. And for those probably who are using Libre, all we get is, like, 90 days of reports. But whereas in Night Scout, you can literally, like, store your 2 years of data, 3 years of data, whatever it is. I mean, I guess with the free version, yeah, maybe it might, you get just 500 MB of data. So 500 MB of data is good enough to store 2 to 3 years of data. But yeah, if you want more, then yeah, you can keep storing your data as long as you want by paying some time, like little amounts. And yeah, again, it makes with the help of Night Scout, you can also create, like, easy to understand reports for your doctor. Like, for example, if we extract data from like, Libre Reader or Libre Pro Reader, you get, like, 10 pages of reports or something like that, which might be quite confusing for a doctor to concentrate on as well. And I mean, you get to visit the doctor for 5 to 10 minutes. So looking at the reports, probably he may not make right assumptions for you. So which is quite time consuming for the doctor as well. So this gives an idea of, like, what reports you can create for your doctors. And it does really, we can get into the details later. And then the last option I put in here is auto tune your settings. So this actually works only when you are on the looping systems. But again, like, the reason I mentioned the star over here is basically because of, like, limitations. We are not covering the loop topics on this session for sure. But yeah, I mean, if you have Night Scout and if you are looping, you can auto tune your settings. And we can get into a little bit of detail about auto tune, like, in few moments. All right. And as we were talking already, like, we have Libre creating our reports, Libre Pro creating our reports, or even Medtronic. There are a couple of users of Medtronic which can create our reports. But how is this different? So, I mean, what are the main advantages of this Night Scout? So first thing is, Night Scout can be compatible with multiple devices, like, irrespective of the manufacturer. So let's assume, like, you are today, you are using the Libre today, and tomorrow you migrate to Medtronic. So you cannot combine those data together, right? So whereas with things like Night Scout, you can get your Medtronic data into this. You can later on get your Libre data into this. I mean, whichever device you are using. Even I mean, I'm concentrating more about Libre and Medtronic here. The reason is because like in India, the majority of the population is using those. Even, I mean, I would say, like, Dexcom data as well comes into here if you would like to. And not only the Dexcoms and CGMs, but also the pump data. So like for example, the Medtronic 600 users, they can get their pump data as well. Like, what were your basal rates? What were your boluses? All these things into the Night Scout. And yeah, again, like, if you're using looping systems, you can get your carbohydrates information, you can get your temp basils information and all those things into Night Scout. So end of the day, like, I would say Night Scout can be more functional when we have three KPI, I mean, three sets of data in it, not KPIs, sorry. So three sets of data. The three sets of data is nothing but blood glucose and insulin and then carbohydrates. These, I mean, I learned that these three play the major role in managing our diabetes. So, sorry. So as I mentioned earlier, again, like, we have larger time frame for reports. Like, you can compare with the previous quarter to current quarter, and you can, I mean, and it all stays in the cloud. You don't really need to download, and you don't need to like, keep copies of it. And another feature I want to highlight is, like, this kind of sounded over exciting for me when I looked at this feature, but I mean, really speaking, this is the least used feature I have. I mean, with the Night Scout, this is the least used feature. It sounded exciting, like, ask my Alexa, like, what is my blood glucose? So you can do those integrations as well. There is a bit complexity involved in it, but yeah, I mean, over the time you can learn things, and I mean, probably things can get easier as well for all these things. So like, yeah, I mean, I did set it up. It took me almost, like, 4 or 5 days of time. And then, like, I asked my Alexa, what is my blood glucose? I was so excited to ask it, like, for 3 to 4 days. And then, like, after that, I don't recall asking, not even once. And again, monitoring through smartwatches, Garmin watches, like smartwatches, like, you can say Apple Watch or any Android watches, any of those. And whereas, like, you can even customize your alerts, not just for the BG readings, also for, like, if your battery is low, if you're like, you can customize your alerts in such a way, like, you can have your own tune for, if you're above 140, you can have your own tune. If you're above 170, you can have your own tune, which kind of makes a lot of difference, right? And yeah, so setting up the Night Scout, we have two different options, really speaking. And the one I used, like, 2 years ago, and even today I'm using, is the traditional approach. So the traditional approach involves, like, quite a few steps in, I mean, it sounds probably a bit easier for the IT crowd, but yeah, I mean, if you are from the non-IT background, it kind of makes it complex. It does like, sound like, this is Greek for me. So, but yeah, again, there is this person called Martin Zen. So he kind of had some server space left over or something like that. So he's a guy like you who wanted to volunteer. He's from Germany, and this guy had a server space, and he thought, like, why not I provide something to the community? And then, like, he created an easy to set it up. Like, I mean, he being from the IT background, I think it would have not been a bigger task for him, and that too, he had some leftover server space on his server. So he just made our lives a lot easier. So today we are going to cover the easier approach. So we will, like, I will guide you through setting it up, how to set it up. It should not take, like, more than 5 to 10 minutes. So it should, I mean, setting it up is one thing, but then, like, how to use it is the second thing. So we will concentrate more on how to use. And again, I just want to highlight, like, if you are from the IT background, and if you can think of, like, you can spend some time, I would always recommend you guys to go with the traditional approach, because, like, this is something you can customize on your own to a greater extent. Whereas in this, like, there are some limitations. There are, I mean, advantages as well as disadvantages when it comes to this. And of course, the advantages definitely will highlight those disadvantages. So you don't need to worry about it for the time being, I would say. Excuse me. So let me get into the demo, and let's start setting up the Night Scout server from here. I hope I'm kind of, like, sounding okay, not too technical. What do you guys think? Should I go much slower, or I'll just look for a few messages on the chat, maybe.
You are perfectly all right, Anirudh.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we're getting a lot of messages, Anirudh, saying you're doing great. Thank you.
Oh.
I agree. Hey, Anirudh, there are quick 2 questions on the chat. Would you like to take them or would you like to take them at the
Yes,
end?
yes,
Simple
yes,
question.
yes, please, sir. Yeah.
So, okay, here you go. Sorry. Ditya Upadhyay has asked, we need to set up in phone or laptop.
No, it can only be set it up on the laptop. Phone gets a little overcomplicated, I believe. I have never tried. Yeah, at least the traditional approach, there is no way you can set it up on the phone. Whereas coming to the easier approach, probably, but yeah, it might get a bit complex.
One more, Archana Vaishnavi, she's asked, does Night Scout work for more than 14 days?
Yes, it can work for almost like, I mean, as I mentioned, it can work for 2 to 3 years of time. Like, I mean, I think I had some issue with my previous Night Scout instance, and I had to kind of like, forget about that instance. I was trying out few things and I screwed it up basically. But again, this Night Scout instance I'm using from like almost 3 or 4 months, and I just used 4% of the data. You guys can see this pill here. So just use 4% of the data, and I use lot of data. I mean, my pump data comes in here, my carbohydrates data is coming in here. So if it is just CGM data, right? Like I would not even assume I would have consumed 2% in the last 2 months.
But just to be clear, it doesn't extend the life of the CGM, right?
No. It is just a web portal where you can store all your data. It's not anything technical about maintaining your maintaining your sensor.
One last question before we interrupt you further. Rubina Pathan has asked, if we have monitoring machine, can we do that? And I'm guessing she means a glucometer.
Monitoring machine. Yeah, I mean, glucometer is, I mean, it would not be worth to migrate glucometer data in here, but you can always there is a option where you can manually enter your BG data in here as well. And I think it does even support few of the glucometers to upload directly. I'm not 100% aware of it, but yeah, probably post the session I can look it up, and when I send over the Q&A uh, asking feedback, I can then answer that.
All right, we won't interrupt you.
Yep. All right. So as I was telling you, there are two ways. This is the traditional approach. I mean, this is Night Scout. We are not waiting project, and they have really it is well documented. Even I'm personally from the IT background, but I'm not a coder. But still, I if I spend some enough time, then I can understand things and figure it out. I can figure it out end of the day. And it involves quite a few steps in if you see, let me go to the installation. So these are all the steps you need to follow, which kind of gets quite overwhelming, and you get lost at some point of the time. So let's not go into this today in detail. Instead, I will jump into the second URL which we were talking about. So this is the one which which was created by Martin. He's from Germany. Again, he's doing it for free. And as you come into this, I mean, he did give the brief introduction of why he set this up. So you can see here. So you can now easily over the profile create your manage multiple Night Scout instances. And he did also list out what are the advantages and what are the disadvantages. Again, the disadvantages are not crazy disadvantages. And also I would say, personally, if someone else is reading my blood glucose data, I would not mind about it totally. Yeah, if someone is reading my financial data, then yeah, I would say something's wrong. But yeah, if my blood glucose data, then yeah, totally. So yeah, let's get started. Maybe I'll just try to create a test account for today. So what I will do is I'll just click on register over here, and then I'll just give an username for myself, Anirudh Reddy, and let me give up my email address as well, gmail.com. and just accept the terms. Right. Let me check my email now. So I did get an email. So let me quickly show you an email. So I just got this email 0 minutes ago. So which kind of gives you thank you for your registration. If you want to confirm the registration, get onto this link. So I will just get onto this link right away. Oops, sorry. I think let me stay on this window for some time. Yeah. So once I clicked on this link, again it says you will receive an additional email from us with your account data. So basically when you receive this email, you will receive a username and password on the second one. Let me again share my So now we are all set. I have my username, I have my password, and here's a link to I would recommend you guys to start this email or something like that, so that it would be useful. It would be handy for you at any point of time. You would not really need to log into this often. Maybe when you feel like you need to change your settings or something like that. I mean, me personally, if I have this account, I would not log into it for maybe at least six months to a year time. So, but yeah, again, you can always start it so that it's not lost totally. So let me get to login screen and let's get started. Right, and the password. And I can choose to be selected auto log on so that it remembers your password as well. Yeah, here we are. So again, there are few warnings or anything of that sort. Use these services at your own risk. This is again do remember guys, this is do it yourself. So there is no one to be blamed for, and really speaking, again, there is nothing to be blamed about it. It's just seeing your data, nothing more than that. So once you are in this page, all you have to do is click on the server. So because we need to set up our own server now. So you click on this server tab right on the top here, and I think few advertisements over here. Let's as soon as I click the server, you get this option of add a new server. So I'll click on this, add a new server, and then all it asks me is give a name for your server, what it needs to be. So again, I'll just give something like this. I think it doesn't accept special characters if I'm not wrong. So just try to be using underscores and names. That's all, nothing more than that. I think, yeah, you can just use underscore if you would like to. And display name is just what is your name, that's all. And you need to set up one password, guys. This password, I'll explain you why you need to set up. And I mean, it's not really a password, I would say, when I type it here, it's quite visible for me. So I'll just put up some password here just for this demo. And these are the first three things which are majorly we need to be concentrating on. And later on, we have quite a few settings here. I mean, if you scroll down all the way, there are quite a few settings, but most of them you can leave it default. You don't need to be worried about. And but yeah, you're always welcome to go and look what they are, and you can change your own things if you'd like to. I'll cover few of them here now. So for example, this next option is not applicable to us only if you are looping and you're using specific version of the loop. You need to activate this, but again, it doesn't matter. And this is again, if you want your server location to be exactly in Germany, you check this. But yeah, again, yeah, we don't care where it is located at. And I would recommend to leave this on the master because whenever the version update happens, it automatically updates to the most recent Night Scout version. So if you are a developer and if you are trying out few things, then yeah, I mean, people do set up the older versions. Or like if you think like the new version has some issues and it screwed it up, you can always come here and switch back to older versions. And then once you're here, you have options to select how you want to see your data, 12 hours, 14 hours, something like that. And then you can set your alerts. If do you want to be alerted when you are high, you are low, and all these things. For this moment, I'll not activate any of them. I'll just leave it as is. And again, you see these first four options here, right? BG high, BG target top, BG low, BG target bottom. So these are basically something like BG high is nothing but in our language, if we can say it it is very high. And then BG target top is high, and then low is low. Sorry, low is very low. Excuse me. Target bottom is again low. So I mean, if I want to set up myself, yeah, I would assume 200 is decent enough for a very high, and then maybe I would do 150 for this, and then these sounds to be fairly okay for me, 70 and 80. I would like to be above 80, but not below 70, right? And then you can leave pretty much all these information in the default manner. And again, if you just hover over your mouse on more infos, right, it kind of gives you the information what it is doing. So let's not get into more details here. And again, we are this session is mostly about setting up Night Scout and get your CGM data into here. So like if you see here, I mean, this mostly relates to CGM, but again, when it comes to these pump modules, OpenAPS modules, these are related to when you're looping. So again, you can keep these checked in, doesn't matter. They don't impact your Night Scout in any way, even if you're not using looping. So all we do, I mean, now is come all the way to the bottom and then save it. I think, yeah.
Hey, Anirudh, this is Amitabh. When I was just trying to save, this says an unexpected error occurred. Okay, is it because the length of the server that I gave is short?
No, I think,
Small?
again, I think I see here, it's kind of giving me the error message here. Only numbers and letters, no special letters. So I think underscore itself is not accepted. So let me remove the underscore. And yeah,
Okay.
again, two more things, guys. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't aware about underscore as well. So this is one thing. And then the second thing, I think this API password needs to be somewhere between 12 characters to 20 characters, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, I mean, try to keep it somewhere between 12 characters to 15 characters is what I would recommend. I think it does throw the error if it is if there is an error, but yeah, it's hard to figure out. Even for most of the people, they might not come here and see this red letters over here, so which is kind of understandable. But yeah, I mean, just keep that in mind. Keep it as simple as possible. So now, your server was successfully saved, deleted. And if you see the status here, it is still creating. So it generally takes about 2 to 3 minutes for this to be created. So maybe during the meantime, I will just show you what my Night Scout is. I'm already using Night Scout. I can just give you an overview of what it is. So here you see my BG data, blood glucose data. And then I selected to show 4 hours and that's the reason I'm seeing 4 hours. But if I select 12 hours, I can see my 12 hours of blood glucose data. And not only blood glucose data, if you see here, I have this 5 here. That means I took a 5 units bolus. And also there is a 0.1 bolus which I had taken. And even you can see how many carbs I have eaten here, 45 grams of carbs. And also you see I have suspended my pump here and then resumed my pump here. I think, yeah, it's hidden somewhere in the background, but yeah, that's all right. So you get to see when you suspended your pump, when you are activating your pump. So this is the time to time data you are seeing here. And then if you see on the top here, the blue shades, little blue shades, this is my basal, like, I'm on loop, so it keeps fluctuating my basal literally all the time. So my basal was suspended during this time, and then, like, my when you see this dotted line, that means, like, this is my basal rate. So my basal rate is 1 unit an hour. So you can see, like, my basal was increased to 1.5 units at some point of time, and then it was decreased to 0.75 units at some point of time, and it decreased much more at some point of time. I mean, if I look it in more detail, I think I'll be able to, yeah, again. So if I come into two overview, I could even see, like, what was the basal rate during then. So it's all about, like, how much data you have in there, and accordingly you need to switch the hours view in here. And this is your BG data, carbohydrates data, insulin data, and temp basal data, right? And again, here at the bottom, you just have, like, last 2-day picture. It's not really, I mean, it's kind of like, just a quick overlook of last 2 days. And then again, like, when was your last BG received? 1 minute ago. My last BG 1 minute ago was 160, and it's trending +2. So when you're looking your child's BG, right, like, it's kind of helpful, right? So let me get back to this Night Scout server. So I think, yeah, you can now see that status is running. And we have these two details, tiny pieces of information for us. One is server URL, and then my API password, right? So let me get back to the presentation. And now we can see, like, once we have this ready, what do we need to do? So again, like, I'm going to concentrate more about the Libre for now. Again, when I mean Libre, it is both Libre and Libre Pro. Doesn't matter which Libre you are using. So I know majority of people here in India use Libre or Libre Pro with GLIMP, whatever it is. And there are quite a few users who are using MyoMyo as well. So for those users who are using MyoMyo, they will be using an app called Tomato. MyoMyo is nothing but a Bluetooth transmitter. So it keeps transmitting data every 5 minutes. And similarly, like, there is a device called Bubble, which does the same work as MyoMyo. But they do have an app called Diabox. This Diabox also functions like GLIMP. It doesn't necessarily need a Bubble. So these are the three main things, like, we are going to cover about today. And even, like, for Medtronic 600 series, there is a way, but again, like, it kind of gets a bit complex. I will leave out the link here, like, if anyone is interested, you can always, look into it at your own convenience. Again, if you look into it and just try to understand, it's not, like, complex. It just like, to respect the time of our audience today, let's not get into more details of this. So let me start sharing my screen of my mobile, so that I will be able to show you guys how I can get. Let me come back to the browser. How I can get my server URL and password added to the like, either of these, GLIMP, Tomato, or the Diabox. So these are the three apps which we are going to look at. Angad, do you want to start with the GLIMP first?
Sure, Nirad. Let me just.
I'll stop sharing for a moment, and then you can.
Yeah. Sure, I'll just.
So guys, I do not have an Android phone, so I'm taking help of Angad, so that, like, it can be. I know GLIMP is the major product here for most of you guys, so that's why, like, we thought we'll start with GLIMP first, and then we can get to Tomato and then Diabox.
Anirudh, sorry, I think Taruna has been trying to create. So can you please take a quick look at the chat box? She says, I have created my password and login. Now, where do I have to go? Do I have to add a new server? So can you quickly, like, just sort her out?
Yep, sure. So like, I mean, you would have received this email, right? Like, once you receive this email with the username and password, you have to, let me again come back here. So just click on this URL, the URL which you received here. Just click on this URL, and then you will land on this particular page. Like, let me come back to home. you'll land on this URL, and then I'm
You
logged
should be
in
sharing
now.
the screen. You're not sharing screen, so I think
Oops,
people can't
sorry,
see it.
sorry. My bad. Yeah. Apologies.
Are you sharing it?
No, not yet. Okay.
Apologizing to everybody else for this.
Hopefully you're able to see my screen now.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So yeah, first thing, like, you should be receiving this email, right? Like, I guess as per the message from, I can't remember the name, sorry, Taruna. Yeah. I mean, you already got the email with the username and password. So now you have this username and password, and you have the link to this server as well. Like, I mean, the main server. So you just get into this link, and then, like, you type in your username and password. Let me copy my password for now. And yeah, you get to see a tab called login when you come into this page. So type in your email address and the password you received on the email. And then submit. Oops, session could not be created. Please log in again. Yeah. Okay. Now we are logged in, right? So once we are logged in, we get into the tab called server. So we get into the tab called server. And then if you already have a server, it does, let me wait for it to load. Yeah, if you already have a server created, you will be able to see the server. I think you can create 3 servers at most. Like, if you have 2 T1 kids with you, yeah, you can create the 2 different servers within the same thing. But yeah, I guess most of us luckily will be using only one. So yeah, once we have the server created, like, it will be displayed here. But if you do not have created yet, you get a button called add a new server. So you can click on this and follow the process which we have gone through just a while ago. Okay. And once we create our server, things we need is server URL and the API password. These are the 2 things we would be needing. So I will hand it over to you, Angad. You can start sharing and share Glimp.
Sure. Yeah.
Do you want to use my link so that I think?
Yeah, I
Maybe.
think you can send me the link. I'll
just ping you the link.
Okay, so let me just open Glimp. Yeah. So basically, you have to just go to the settings tab here. Then there's an option, there's cloud, right? So just go the cloud. In the
Angad, can you mute on your laptop? I guess there is some echo coming. Or I mean, either one. Just mute one of it so that.
Is it better now?
Yeah, loud and clear. It is clear.
Yeah. So back on this cloud tab, there's basically you have to set the direction. It is, I think, preferred if you're using Glimp as the primary way to scan your sensor. Just put it upload, I think. Yeah. Okay, and then there you have to enter your own server. So I think I'll just enter what Anirudh has sent. So I'll just copy this and go here. And then API secret is just for this demo, right? So just put it here, just for this demo.
Angad, little bit slow.
Maybe you can start over, Angad. You can start over from the home.
Basically, this is the home page, right? The Glimp. When you open the Glimp, you need to go in the top right corner, the 3 dots, and open the settings option, the third from the bottom. Then in the next screen, select cloud, the second last option. Once there, you need to set the direction as upload only if you're using Glimp as the primary, a scanner for your sensor. Because whenever you scan the sensor using the Glimp app, it will then upload these readings to the Night Scout. So just select this as upload only. in the website, you can enter your own Night Scout personal link that you have just created. So I'm just, for this demo, I'm using Anirudh's newly created demo, I think, this server link. And then the API secret, this is again the API key that you had set while creating the server. Just enter it there, and then you will have to just, test connection maybe. And it shows connected, right? So it will now start getting the data once it's available in the Night Scout. So Anirudh, do you have any data on this right now? You're on mute.
Sorry. Yeah, let me start sharing my screen now. And just one more thing, guys. I think when Angad showed you the test connection, right? There would be at times like, you will be seeing test unsuccessful or something like that message. I remember seeing that like, a while ago. I'm not sure whether it's kind of fixed or not. But once you enter this data and you are sure that like, the data is right, then I would say like, ignore that error and then like, just check your Night Scout page and you should be able to see the data there. Angad, do you want to stop your presentation so that I can
Let's
take over?
stop it.
Hopefully you're able to see my screen now. Angad, can you guys see my screen? Yep. Okay, great. Okay. So now Angad has successfully established a connection on his GLIMP. So now when I open this URL, this is the URL which we are going to access. So when we open this URL, we should be able to, oops, I think I should have created the profile first. Yeah. Apologies, guys, again. So when we create our Night Scout, the first thing we need to do, like even before setting it up in GLIMP, is like, we need to create our like basic profile on Night Scout. So it kind of says like, redirecting you to the profile editor to create a new profile. It's just that like, what is your time zone and etc. etc. It does kind of push you like, 2 or 3 times. Just click OK, 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 and that's all. And here we need to do one particular change, like, for sure. So do select the time zone, like, this time zone you are saying. So we need to make a selection of Asia, Kolkata. We being in India, like, we have to make a selection of Indian time zone, right? So let me make that, it's Calcutta, Asia, Calcutta. Someone is too lazy in correcting these city names. Okay. And yeah, again, it is up to you guys if you want to enter more data, like, what is your insulin to carb ratio? I mean, it would help in the longer term if you keep your profile well maintained in uh, like, Night Scout. But yeah, I mean, again, up to you guys. If you are just worried about the remote monitoring, then yeah, it doesn't matter. But if you want to use other features as well from Night Scout, it is quite useful to add all this data: insulin to carb ratio, insulin sensitivity factor, and then your basal rates, and what is your target BG range. So for now, I've just made a selection of time zone, and then I'll click save. So when you click save, you will get one more error. Your device is not authenticated yet. So just to authenticate, what we need to do is, it will ask you, I mean, you have to click on authenticate at the left bottom screen, and come back here, copy your password, and put it up over here. And then you can also say, like, if it is your private computer, you can say, remember this device, and that's it. And now just click on save again, and you are good to go. So status success. You can close this profile page for now. And Angad, can you scan again, scan your GLIMP again? I mean, just the sensor, scan the sensor with your GLIMP so that, like, we can see the data coming over into here. Have you done that? Angad? You're on mute, Angad.
Yeah, Nid, I just scanned it.
Okay. Why not? Let me just check. Can you test the connection again, maybe?
cloud.
Or also just check whether the server URL and password are
It's
right.
doing checking connection. Just hold on. Socket is closed and getting connected.
Okay. And
Got
try
connected.
maybe scan again now.
Can you refresh it once?
Yeah, I did try. Okay, this is weird. Technical issues are bound to happen when we are having these meetings. Yeah, but that's all right, guys. Anyways, I will demo it from the Diabox as well using the same information, but it should technically work. I mean, maybe there is some issue, but yeah, never mind. So let me start sharing my screen from my mobile, and I will share both Diabox and Tomato. Okay, hopefully you guys can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, let me start with Diabox for now. So I just opened the Diabox app, which I have already installed on my phone. And first thing I would do is click on the settings on the right side bottom, the settings icon in here. And then what I would do is click on integration. And then you see an option called NightScout Share Server Upload. First thing is toggle that button so that it is enabled. So I have something already entered here. Maybe I'll just delete it. And let me copy the information of the new server which we have created just now, right? And the password is just for this demo. I guess you might not be able to see that I have entered a password. This is because I'm screen sharing. So, but I did enter a password here, the key. And when I click on save now, it says you get a message saved. So as you guys can see at the moment, I do not have any data, right? So let me first scan my sensor. I click on NFC mode on here, and I'll scan my sensor. Yep, it is successful. And I can see that I am at 139 right now. So let me first try opening that URL on my phone itself first before I even get there. Before I get back to my PC again. Oops, sorry. I copied the wrong URL. Yeah, you can see that this is the newly created anirudhreddy.ns. This is the newly created profile, and I can see my data coming through 139. And again, I'll just show you from the Tomato as well. I think I will not go through the settings, and I mean, I'll not go through adding a new account and all, but I'll just show you the settings over here. Again, coming to Tomato app for those, for those using MyoMyo, you see this profile icon at the right side bottom. Click on this, and then you have an option called data sync. And then again, enable, toggle the NightScout button and enter your URL and API secret, and then click on login. And again, if I open my if I open my other NightScout account, which is this one I'm using. Oops, sorry. So this is the data coming from, again, I'm at 172 now. I think that data should come in a moment. Yeah, 172 has popped up right away. So that's pretty much how, like, you monitor your remote monitor your data. Like, you can pass on this URL to how many number people you want to. Like, I mean, if there are, like, you can have the URL set entered in your browser on your mom's phone, on your dad's phone, on your spouse's phone, whatever it is, and then, like, they have access to see the data all the time. Let me start sharing my desktop again, and I think let's try to wrap it up as fast as possible. I think we are a little over time, I believe. So yes, guys, like, this is my existing Night Scout, which is connected via Tomato. I can see my 172, and this is which I have pushed the data from my Diabox app. This is our new Night Scout URL which we have just created. So we start getting all this data. And there's one more thing, like, we can add a lot of other data as well. Like, if you are taking a carb correction, if you're taking a combo bolus, I mean, these are just nothing but, like, like, I mean, I think someone else was asking about blood glucose data as well, right? So someone can, like, check this BG check and then put up the data over here. Or someone is having a meal, then yeah, put up your number of carbs and then, like, what is the current glucose reading. This is not mandatory. Again, like, when you say meal bolus, you just have to enter carbs. That's the main thing. And then if you're taking bolus, if again you click on combo bolus, you glucose reading, number of carbs, and then the insulin. So there are quite a few options I think you can explore by yourself. So it all, like, to add any data manually, you have to come into this plus sign over here at the right side bottom, and then keep adding the data. And if you are on a new PC, you might not be able to see this, this plus icon. So what you have to do is basically, like, just click on this icon over here. Sorry. Click on this hamburger icon, the 3 lines, and then profile editor. And then you have to authenticate yourself with that API key, which you have here just for this demo. So you have to authenticate yourself, and then you will be able to add the data in here. So to read the data, you do not need the API key, but to enter the data into the Night Scout, you need an API key. So that's what it is about. And let me get back to presentation. And I think let's try to understand how we can generate reports and all these things. So again, like, you can view data for yourself, and also at the same time, you can generate reports for your doctor. So for viewing your reports, it is directly from this Night Scout instance itself. For generating the reports, there is a URL which I have mentioned over here. And it's kind of like you get like quite a lot details to select from. Like, when you open this, you get options to print what all data do you want to show to your doctor. So in this particular example, I mean, I felt like, for my doctor, he doesn't really need my daily profile, daily trend, log, and everything. So I felt like, a weekly graphic and CGP and daily statistics, these would be good enough, is what I felt. And I have kind of defaulted my reports to this. So if you see here, this is one of the report I had generated a while ago. So you get lot of data from here, like, how many total BG data readings you had over the period. I mean, I did extract a report for 69 days, and you can see, like, what is my time in target, time in high, low, and all these things. And yeah, again, you have quite a few details. What is average number of carbs per day? Again, this depends on, like, how much data you're entering into the Night Scout. If you're just entering BG data, then yeah, probably, you may not be able to see the data about these. But yeah, again, the more the data you enter, the more you're going to benefit from Night Scout. So this is one of my favorite chart to show to my doctor. It kind of makes my doctor's life a lot easier, I would say. So if you see here, like, this is for the 69 days, what it is doing is, like, this solid black line you're seeing, it is giving my average blood glucose value by each minute, each hour, whatever it is, right? So my trend is almost in this particular direction. And of course, when my doctor sees this, why are you high between 12 to 1? Is there something you can do between 12 to 1? Is like, the immediate question what my doctor would ask. And again, like, the solid black line is saying my average, and the dark blue shade of the line, you see is basically your what is, I mean, if you exclude the top 25% and the bottom 25% of the values, where are you staying at, like for the majority of part of the time. And the light blue shade of the graph you see is basically, again, like if you exclude, I mean, we all always have bad days and good days, right? Like, uh, it's just like, excluding those bad days and seeing how the data is at. So it's just excluding the top 10% and bottom 10% of the data. And then, like, this, the lighter blue shade is like, the major thing for the doctors, I would say. The lighter blue, when they look at it, they will say like, you are doing all right, or you have to improve yourself during these times. Maybe you have to increase your basal during these times so that, like, you can keep yourself in control. And yeah, again, these are quite a lot of details for the doctor. And generally, like, I did understand that doctors can understand these values better than us. I don't want to get into more detail about these. Again, let me come to the reports, what you can study by yourself, right? Again, so I'm on my existing Nightscout because, like, I have enough data in there. So to start using reports, I would say, like, you need to have some data in there, at least, like, for a couple of days at least. So start using this Nightscout. Maybe it might not make sense for you for the first couple of days, but then, like, once it starts having enough data, then it does really make a lot of difference. So you have many options here if you see Nightscout reporting. So what I did was basically click on this hamburger icon and then clicked on reports. So when I come to the reports, you have options to select which type of chart you want to see. And again, like, choose your period. There are a few options like, where the commonly used prompts, like, if I want to see for the last 3 months, I click on last 3 months and automatically the dates changes. Or if you want only for the last 50, I mean, if you want to customize it, you can customize it. And I know, like, I'm a person where Saturdays and Sundays are like, I'm out of control. But so sometimes I feel like, I don't need to worry about Saturday and Sunday. Let me just look at Monday to Friday, how am I doing? So you can have those things as well. And, like, you can see how your trend was on that particular day, and what were the treatments that happened on that particular day. So this is, again, like, very detailed, but again, there are summarized options. So this is a summarized way, like, where you can get percentage of readings, low, in range, high, and then, like, A1C, and a few other, like, there are quite a few metrics. You can either, like, read about these metrics at the bottom, or you can Google about this. They start making more sense for you. And even myself, like, when I started, like, this mean total daily change, it used to be somewhere like 1100, 1200, but then I felt like, I need to get down. So, and it does improve the quality of your life for sure when you look at these metrics more. And again, few more things is this percentile chart again, which I showed you just a while ago. This kind of makes you understand where are you going to the extremes. I mean, look, here I think I'm doing very bad. I'm getting into the hypos between 2 to 3. I'm constantly getting into the 50s. So there is some room for improvement for me. So it is, just with a glance of it, you can make your own decisions. Let me get back to the presentation. Yeah. So last one thing I want to talk about is auto-tune. So as I mentioned to you guys, like, Nightscout is all about having more data. The more data you have in Nightscout, the more it can do. So me personally, using Loop, as I mentioned before, I have all 3 sets of data coming into my Nightscout: insulin data, BG data, and then carbohydrates data. So these are the 3 major factors in altering any of your treatment values. So basically, like, auto-tune is nothing but, like, it is taking all your data and it is doing the math for you. So like, I mean, we start when someone asks what is your ISF. For me personally, like, I started with that 1700 by total daily dosage. I just used the calculations like literally based on what is there out for everyone, like, but there are these minute differences where people have different settings for themselves, right? Maybe because of your diet, maybe because of your activity or something like that. But if you have your own routine, then, like, just start logging your data into Nightscout, and then let the AutoTune do the math for you. So you can visit this website, and you can I mean, in this particular case, if you see, I just attached a screenshot for your reference. So I had my ISF set as 39 and my carb ratio set as 8.1. And also you can see, like, these are my basal rates, my current basal rates 1.1. But then, like, when I ran my auto tune, it did the math by itself, and by pulling all the data from Nightscout, and it said, like, you have to make these minute corrections. Instead of 8.1, change it to 8.0, and you have your basal set as 1.1, and it just recommending me to change it to 1.25 at these particular 3 hours, and here it is telling me to change it to 1.15. So all these, I mean, you get hover by hover detail. Just because of the real estate, I did not capture the whole screenshot, but yeah, I think you get what I'm trying to say here. So, I mean, we can figure it out by ourselves as well, like, over the period of time. But one thing we need to understand is we do not have any, confirmed feedback that is being received for us. Like, we are just guesstimating our data. I mean, this could be my ISF, but the next day, if you notice, probably, like, you might have overdosed yourself, or you might be trending to an high, like, you might be trending very high. So even after this, yeah, those differences can happen. But it is like, I do keep running this like every once in 2-3 months, and kind of like, try to make those minute differences. And especially with the growing children, there are like, these things change quite often, right? I mean, today it can be 10, and tomorrow it can be 15. So with the growing children, it does make quite a difference. So I would recommend you guys, like, to log as much data as possible into the Nightscout, and yeah, it can do quite a few magic for you guys. So let me get to the next slide. Yeah, one more question for you guys. Do you guys see any advantages in using Nightscout now?
Navodaya says yes. Others?
I think no, we have a poll actually. I think most of the people are answering on poll, if I'm not wrong, than chat.
This chat is also lighting up. Pritosh,
Yeah.
Dipti, Zunan, Vishal, Kiran, everybody's saying yes.
That's awesome.
By the way, had you taught me the way you taught everyone today, maybe I would have done better.
No, I wasn't aware of the TZ process before, Sai, technically. Like, I mean, if I knew it, like, I would have been,
No,
like,
just kidding.
working
You're
on this
fantastic.
session a while ago.
Just
Yeah.
kidding. You're fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I mean, when I talk to Angad, like, we both are talking in the same language, but I tried giving this Nightscout overview for quite a few
but you
people.
did really, really well. I'm sure everybody else agrees because you really spoke in our language today. Hey, Taruna is quickly asking you if it gives alarms as well when we're low.
Yes, it does. I mean, if you are doing remote monitoring, and like, yeah, I mean, if someone is using something like, Mayo or Bluecon, I mean, not Bluecon, sorry, the Diabox bubble, it does give alarms. So, when you click on this particular, this hamburger icon over here, you have all these options set here, enable alarms. So you can enable the alarms which you would like to, and yeah, it can notify you even if the kid is not sitting right beside you.
Hey, you guys, thank you. I mean, I know it's an hour and 10, and you're welcome to stay back if you have the time. We really, really value your time. I mean, it's so great to have, all of you, spending Saturday morning with us. So if you do have a few more minutes, we would love to stay back and chat. But if you have to leave, we absolutely understand.
Just I
Anirudh is
want to
right
add
here.
one more thing, Sai. Just one more thing I want to add before I hand it over to Prashant. So there is a support group on Facebook. I mean, for this whole Night Scout thing, like I mean, there are quite a few Night Scout users all over the world, but I would say maybe 5 to 10% of the population who are on that Facebook group belongs to this IT language, who can understand things. So there are quite a few questions coming on this support group. So I would recommend you guys be on this Facebook support group, which is which can answer your questions, queries, whatever it is. And of course, I am there always as well if you want to reach out to me personally.
Hey,
Uh,
Anirudh.
yep.
Yeah, some people had some issue, they are getting the authentication error. So can you just, open it in the incognito window and just show them how to authenticate their session on the Night Scout?
Definitely. Maybe I'll show it later once I think, let's finish this thing, and during the questions, I will take it over. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, again, this Facebook group is fantastic, guys. And I would always tell you guys to search your issue first before posting it, because there are only quite a few, only some amount of people who answer these questions. So it kind of gets sometimes erratic, I would say, literally. I mean, the developers over there, feel frustrated sometimes. They are doing the voluntary work. No one is getting paid here, right? So if the same question is asked by 1,000 people, I mean, we have 35K members in this group at the moment. If the same question, I mean, some days there will always be some issues, and maybe a server is down or something like that. So and when the server is down, literally every person is facing the issue, right? So when they are not able to access, just don't type "I'm not able to access the website." Just go and see the recent posts if anyone else is already facing the issue. And you can find the solution sometimes easily, and just be patient. And yeah, if you have a valid question, always post in there. There are people who do respond to your posts. It's a public group, so even, I mean, sometimes I do respond there as well for few queries if it is in my scope. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Prashant, I'll let you speak. Maybe you can just speak about the foundation and what are our objectives going forward. And
Yes,
then I'll come back
thank you,
to
Anirudh.
questions. Yeah.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes.
Prashant, loud and clear.
Yes, Prashant, you're very loud and clear.
Yeah. Okay. So Anirudh and Angad and the team, Sai, everybody, wonderful session. I know a lot of work has been gone into it, and just like Martin from Germany wanted to help the community, now Anirudh and T1DFI India is turning it out and putting it out for us, the Indian community. Thank you so much. So I think most of people here are aware of the foundation. So as the name suggests, it is about type 1 diabetes, and our focus and area of work will be on policy making and working with the government and authorities, to make T1 healthcare more affordable and accessible. It's basically uplifting the community, especially in the economically and socially backward sections. So how we go about is by inviting anyone who wants to work for the community. Like we have lawyers and technical professionals and patient advocates and all sorts of people in our team. So I think Sai and others are going to have a project called Driver Dream Project, where people can come up with ideas and projects for the T1 cause. So we'll be looking into it and work for the community. And how you can go about this is we have our website running for the last couple of months. So there is a volunteering link as well. So you can join in and work with us in any capacity, which will suit you. So you can either mail us or reach out to any of us personally. So Sai, maybe you can talk about the Driver Dream Project a little more.
That's absolutely right, Prashant. So what we all are is we all have day jobs. We all work elsewhere. And, what we do is that in our free time, in our weekends, we try and do fun things like this. A classic example is that Anirudh and Angad are both tech professionals. They're analysts. And, their dream is to make diet tech more approachable. Because there's this huge mindset block and understanding block between people who understand tech and people who still need to embrace tech out of necessity. So this is their dream, and they do what they can to make Diatech more accessible to people. So if you have a dream, if you have a thought, we're listening. What we are is we're not per se a community, but we're a community driven platform, and that community is you. So what we want to do is that we want to use the T1DF India platform. If you guys have any ideas on how you want to give back to the community to make T1D lives better in any way that pops across your head, tell us your idea. We'll collaborate with you, and together we will drive this dream. So that's the whole thought process behind Drive a Dream project. I mean. Yeah. We need to look after our own, and in the last few years, if anything, the T1D community has done that fantastically. So we're very, very happy that we're here amongst you today. So if you have a thought, if you have an idea, it could be anything. You want to put up posters in your primary healthcare center, you want to make T1D easier for your kids in school, we're listening. You have an idea, talk to us. So that's that. You can reach us. I mean, Angad, can you please put out our access details on the chat log as well? Sure. You'll find us as T1DF India on pretty much social media platforms. You have us on Facebook, you have us on Instagram. Our website is t1dfindia.org. You will easily be able to get through to us there. Our email is t1dfindia@gmail.com. You can write to us at contact@t1dfindia.org as well. We're listening, we're checking our mails, and we would love to hear from you. So I won't take up much of your time. Fantastic session, boys. Anirudh and Angad are our tech backbones, and they've really, really, made. I can't wait to use Night Scout now, and I hope you've had a positive experience as well. So before we wrap up, I'm going to give the baton back to Anirudh and Angad to see what is left. Thank you for staying back. Thank you for listening, and we hope to work with you soon as well. This is completely voluntary. This is completely charitable.
And one more word I want to put out is basically Sai is saying anyone and everyone is welcome at the foundation.
My question to Angad.
Yes, Girish. Yeah.
How to see that reading in Garmin watch?
Maybe. I mean, I think we'll probably we'll put out a link on our webpage on our T1DFI website with how to be connected to the third-party devices. I think it's kind of again a little bit of effort involved, and for the time being, everyone else as well, are on this call. So maybe we'll skip it for now, but we'll upload some material onto our website as along with this recording, so that it would be helpful for you. Sure. And I'll also put out all these links as well. Maybe this presentation along with these links.
Okay. No issue.
And again, let me come. I think there was an issue where someone else was facing this authentication error, right? So I have opened my Night Scout instance as a fresh one on a different browser, basically. So now you can see, I'm still logged over here. So when I come, when I see in my existing one, I'm not logged. You do not see that log thing over here. So that means, in the second one, which I'm seeing here, to enter new set of data, I need to authenticate myself. So when I click this, it will ask for my APL secret. So I will just put in the secret, and if it is again your private computer, you can select this option. For now, I will leave it. Oops, sorry. Let me copy it from there. So I think the copy paste is better than if you type it on your own. So I did copy it and authenticate, and now I'm able to see this plus icon over here. So I mean, sometimes maybe there might be weird errors you guys will be seeing, but I would just recommend you just give it another try. And also if the whole thing has not started properly, you can always delete this server and then recreate a new server. So you have this delete button over here when you come to your own servers. So just click on delete, and then again, new servers, and easy workaround for you guys. Unless and until you have already sitting 3 to 4 months of data, then you might have to think about it. But if you just started a week ago, month ago, then don't worry about it and just delete and recreate.
So Anirudh, there's another question that's been asked a couple of times in the chat, like which device is better for nights, like for continuous glucose monitoring, Glucon, Mia or Bubble? So since you have used it on the three, maybe you can have some
Yeah, I have really used all three, but I mean, my personal preference is Mayo, and yeah, that's what I'm using currently. And again, I'm not advertising Mayo or anything of that sort, but it has been very easy for me. Bluecon was like my first device which I had tried out. I was so excited when I saw it, but then I felt it had lot of issues, and I'm not sure whether it has been addressed. It's been more than a year I have used, but even until date, it cannot. It is not. There is no option to sync your data to Night Scout, so that's kind of a drawback for me, and I never thought about it again. I totally forgot about it. And then Diabox is actually Bubble is a pretty decent one which I've heard of. It is starting up new. I mean, they were not supporting Libre Pro for quite some time. They started supporting recently, if I'm not wrong. I just tried it out for 2 weeks by taking it from a friend of mine. Not friend of mine, Binu, actually. I hope she's on the call. So yeah, I had tried it out for a couple of weeks, but then there were few issues which I have noticed. I mean, not major, I would say, but then I felt Mayo is much more easier. I mean, with the Diabox, I was always having issue to stick it to the sensor, The device being a little smaller, it was not sticking in properly. Whereas Mayo has its own stickers. Stickers are great, really speaking. And yeah, even Diabox had a little bit of connectivity issues. But yeah, Mayo Tomato combination is awesome, guys. Even if you lose connection when you step away from your phone, the next minute you are, in the next couple of minutes, it will again catch up. Angad, I was going through a few questions. I think you have answered most of them. And also, there was one question where there were a couple of questions I've noticed where people were asking about why traditional and why not traditional, right? So, guys, there is, I do not want to go through that in detail, but if you come to this homepage of this particular Martin Guys server, there is a, detail about what's missing. There are few things. I think, yeah, maybe what's missing. He already crossed them out. Probably he's doing those improvements on day-to-day basis, and then maybe he have fixed those issues. But there are few disadvantages still. I can think of. Let me actually log out so that I can get to the home page. Yeah.
Anirudh, hi. Sorry to interrupt you in the middle. I have a follow-up question on the smart reader devices. Is it okay if I ask it now?
Yes, Manan, please go ahead.
So my son is a type 1 diabetic. He's a 5-year-old, and we're not using a smart reader. And I was looking at the Mayo website while we were just talking. And it says that there are two options for the holder. There's one for the adult and there's one for children. Could you tell me what that difference is, just in case?
It's just the band. It is just the band. Depends on your tricep size, basically. So if your kid is less than 12, 13-year-old, I would say 15-year-old, get a kids version.
Basically, it won't stretch that much for the kids.
Yeah,
for adults, the stretchability would be it can accommodate bigger arm sizes.
Right. So it's more of a comfort thing then. Right.
Yeah.
Just to hold it tightly.
If your kid is less than 14, 15, I would recommend just go with the kid size for sure. But yeah, if you are somewhere between 15 to 20, then yeah, it's something to be think about. Is your kid muscular or is your kid lean?
Got it. I'll get the kids one. That's for sure. Thank you.
Yeah, and one thing I wanted to say about traditional and non-traditional. Again, if you guys see here, there are few disadvantages. Which kind of sound technical, but one thing I can kind of see here is I don't remember it exactly. Yeah. So the plugin BWP and Bolus Wizard Preview, and this is this works only again if you are literally entering every data in there, your basal data, your bolus data, and your what do you say, like the carbohydrates data. So this only works only when you are entering all your data. So I will just give you an overview of what this Bolus Wizard preview is. So let me use my own Night Scout, which which has like quite a few data in there. Okay. Yeah. First, I think I need to. Yeah, you guys will be able to see something of this sort. Like, what is my current BG? My current BG is captured automatically, right? And then you have to say how many carbs you're eating. Like, let me say I'm going to eat 25 carbs, right? And then it already knows what is my insulin on board because I am on loop. So it does know what is my insulin. Like, I just entered, like, assume that you are on MDI, not even on pump, right? Like, if you log your insulin data, that I have took 2 units of insulin at 12 p.m., close to 12 p.m., right? So if you have entered that already, then it does know, like, and I had taken 5 units of insulin over here as well. So it does know how much insulin is there on board, basically. And then now it suggests you what is the amount of insulin that is needed. So it is telling me, like, you need to take 0.60 units. And again, this works only when if you have your profile set up to the, like, accurate enough, I would say. Like, I mean, I have my settings over here, like, my insulin to carb ratio here, insulin sensitivity factor here, and my basal rates here, what is my target BG range. So, and also duration of insulin activity. So, I mean, I think few people use it as 4, 5, 6, but yeah, I mean, I personally tend to use 6. Let's not go too technical about duration of insulin activity. It is a big topic, but yeah, see, one of the disadvantages this, and yeah, I think there is nothing major I can think of. So, I don't know why. Maybe, the reason Martin has disabled this is because, like, not being a legally approved platform, like, this is a do-it-yourself thing, right? Like, you cannot suggest a treatment to someone. Only a doctor can suggest your treatment. I mean, even if I'm doing on my own on this thing, this is like, I set up my own server. Someone else is not setting up for me in the traditional way. So in the traditional way, there is no one who is going to stop me in using the Bolus Wizard preview. But if Martin does this on his own server, he might be, like, legally questioned. Angad, can you think of any other questions or guys? Like, I mean, I did kind of, like, scan through all the chart. There were quite a few messages and I could not concentrate much on it. But yeah,
Hey,
if
I have just one question. We are very new to this, just 2 months into our child being detected. We're using a variety of Android phones, but on OnePlus, I'm getting this message that the GLIMP may damage the sensor. I mean, I got it on both my parents' phones, so I avoided, installing it. I'm using it on Samsung without a problem. Is there something that you know about this, or is it just a false message?
so, it is kind of a message, I think. I mean, I have been following in the groups. I have personally never used OnePlus or these things, but I have been following in other
What
groups which
version
I'm
of OnePlus may I ask, Saurabh? Because I've been a OnePlus user for years now.
I have one, I think 7T and one 9 now.
I have a 7, and the 7 has the tender. I think the NFC scanner is pretty strong. So
Okay.
what I do is I scan from a distance,
Got it. Okay.
so it doesn't break the sensor.
And
So
Saurabh,
yeah, I mean, there are these issues, like, where the newest release smartphones, like especially these the Chinese branded, I would say, they tend to have, like, the strong NFC signals or something, and then, like, they have these issues. But yeah, I think OnePlus 7 and I don't know OnePlus 70. OnePlus 7 has no.
Ani, can I come in?
Yeah,
Actually,
Prashant, you are the
OnePlus.
expert actually. Yeah.
Yeah, no. OnePlus 7 works, but OnePlus 70 and 70 Pro damages the sensor. We've been seeing in the groups across the country. These are the two phones which have been damaging sensors continuously. So it's better to avoid. Maybe you can go for a used NFC phone, anything other than 70 or a 70 Pro, and then use it exclusively for instead of buying a new device.
Assuming that the newer ones will also break it.
So sort
No,
of,
no, no. I mean, I think
every mobile phone, that's just a warning that is like, not specific to your specific mobile, but that's a more general, because that's a third party app and it's not a Abbott's app. So
If there is a workaround, you can always scan from a distance. That's how it's worked for me, because yeah, it does break, so it's not exactly ideal. Like I put a thick phone cover and then I do it at a distance and all of that, but I wouldn't recommend it because you can't always be careful. Maybe a workaround would be, if you don't want to change your phone, you can get onto one of these meow meow, one of those kind of transmitters.
Like I said, so I mean, we joined this session just to understand, because see, currently, luckily the schools are shut, and my child got diagnosed only in January. So yeah, I mean, we have to get prepared, and we are reading a lot of material on pumps and other ways to continuously monitor, because blood glucose is still fluctuating quite a lot. I mean, it goes for rides up and down. So we are still struggling with that, so yeah, it's quite new for us. So I'm just getting all the information I can. But yeah, I mean,
with all this technology, I'm sure. I think the management will become much better. We are still learning. It is a continuous learning process.
Yes.
So you're new to this, so things will get better for sure.
Thank you.
But avoid 70. Even the new phones, you don't have to worry about the new phones. New NFC phones do work good. Maybe in the group you can ask. Maybe we can send you a list of phones which are working perfectly fine.
Sure. Thanks.
Any other questions, guys? I do not see any new questions.
I'm Mohan. I have a small doubt whether it is correct to ask the question in this platform. I don't know. Is it looping is possible in MMT 715? Is it possible?
Yes. 715 and 722. It is possible, Mohan.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions? Maybe you can speak up, because I think we scrolled the.
I think we can stay for another 5 minutes time, maybe until 12:50, and then we can wrap up the call 12:50.
People feel free to drop off.
Do you recommend any smartwatch for the kids?
I mean, it cannot. There are no smartwatches that work independent. Can you mute yourself, Kapil? I think there is some echo coming. Yeah, there are no smartwatches, I think, which work independently. I mean, there are one or two, but again, they are either heavy or they are not recommended or anything. So, but they still need to carry the smartphone along with them with the cell phone signal or something like that, so that you can remotely monitor. So it is still kind of little. I mean, there is. There is.
I mean, you don't need to really, think like whether this is supported or not. Most of the Android, Apple, and Garmin devices will support these watch faces that can, display the measurements. So don't basically select the watch according to your needs, and it will probably support it as long as it is Android or Apple or most of the Garmin's.
Yeah, but not those the sports trackers, not the thin looking ones. You see this watch of mine here, something looking like this will work, but not the thin strip ones, the bands. Basically the bands would not work for sure.
Can we have another session related to looping, sir?
We need to work on it, Mohan. Yeah, it's a slow thing. We are spending our I mean, beyond our working times and preparing for this event, of course. But yeah, I mean, we can down the line, definitely you will see that coming, Mohan. And again, see, we need to see some and you, Mohan, I would recommend you to even personally reach out to me if you have any particular questions as well. I would always help you out. But yeah, I mean, organizing a session is something we need to spend a lot of time and efforts. Like, of course, like I did receive a lot of help from Prashant, Angad, Sai in the last 1 or 2 weeks time. Like, from motivating me to do this session to preparing the PowerPoints, putting up the text together, and discussing about how the event needs to flow. And me being a tech person, like, if I talk to Angad, like, yeah, this is enough, this is, everyone will understand. That's how Angad will say, because he's a tech person. But again, I need to get feedback from Sai and Prashant to understand, like, is this, like, layman perspective enough or not? So yeah, I mean, me being from a tech person, I cannot always say that, like, this is simple language. For me, maybe some other thing as well might sound, some complex thing as well might sound as simple language. But again,
Thank you very much for your kind efforts. All of you have did very good in this and making us to understand these things very easily. Thanks a lot for your cooperations. Thank you very much.
great, awesome. I think I see some message from Junoon. Can we get contact details of Anirudh? And I'm also a computer guy. So I mean, really, oops, Kapil, can you mute yourself? Yeah, thank you. So like, there are, you can always reach out to us on Instagram or these things. I can leave my contact details when we send out the recording sessions probably. And like, we do need really quite a few IT professionals, I would say, who can volunteer, because, like, there are quite a few programs like Xtrip and Spike and Xtrip Plus. There are these DIY CGM apps which are still not supporting the Libre Pro. Like, people who can code in Swift and C++. These are, like, well required people. I have quite a few IT friends in my circle, but none of my T1 friends are really into IT. So that kind of makes me feel sometimes, why not? And if I try to explain to my IT friends, right, it is sometimes, they feel as if, like, I don't understand a bit about your glucose thing. If there is someone from the T1 circle, they would understand my BG data, they would understand what T1 is all about. And if they know the coding as well, that kind of makes difference. And we can as well be part of this DIY things. And this all this code is available in the cloud, right? I mean, everything is public. There is nothing like, it's a proprietary or anything of that sort. It is, we are not waiting community. It's all there on the GitHub. And yeah.
Thank you,
And
Anirudh. Yeah.
yes.
I am very much ready to be part of it. As such, I am teaching in Nirma University, Ahmedabad. I am professor there.
Oh, nice, awesome.
And my son is T1D. Is detected in January only.
Okay.
Okay. I also have one doubt about this Libre sensor and Libre Pro. Is there any difference in the accuracy? If I go for Miyamio, then right now I'm using Reader. Okay, so instead of that, if I just go for that, will it compromise any accuracy as far as Pro is concerned?
I mean, I personally use Pro until date. I haven't migrated to Libre. I don't know exactly about the accuracy, but I'm happy with the accuracy of Libre Pro. So when I'm happy with the accuracy of Libre Pro, I don't want like, more accuracy from Libre Pro by paying, like, 2.5 times more money. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, even if you see, I'm just using my Libre Pro with Mayo. So
just I have one question. I'm sorry. You mentioned that the Meow doesn't support the Libre Pro. Sorry, Xtrip or Spike don't support the Libre Pro. Is
yes.
this with the Meow or is it just
anything, any device you use? I mean, these Mayo and Diabox are basically they are not storing the data in them, guys. It does not have a, like, hard drive in it. I mean, technically, if I speak, so there is no hard drive in it. What Mayo and Bubble and Bluecon does is it just touches the sensor and passes the data onto the phone. So even though you are using these Bluetooth devices, that doesn't mean, like, when Mayo is picking the data, why is it not coming to my Xtrip? So it does not work that way. So Xtrip is basically trying to reach the sensor directly, the Libre Pro directly, and Xtrip is not designed to support Libre Pro yet. So if we have, like, quite enough developers in India, I did reach out to quite a few developers overseas, like, who are working on this, And yeah, there were a couple of times 1 or 2 guys responded, maybe I can give it a try. But then like again, they have their own time limitations, and yeah, they were not able to spend enough time until date. I constantly be in touch with them, ask them like, if it is possible, do help us out. There are quite a few people here in India using Libre Pro.
Okay, I'm a bit surprised. All right, because I was I use the Libre normal one, not the Pro, and I'm in France. I'm not in India, but I did
Okay.
some workshops. I wanted to push at least the use of Meow Meow, because I realized that a lot of people don't use it. Not just Meow Meow, any Bluetooth transmitter.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they
And
work with the native apps. They work with the native apps, though, not with the DIY apps, basically, Vikram. So, I mean, they
okay.
work with, I mean, I'm using Mayo now with the Libre Pro. So,
Yeah.
but I use only Tomato app. I cannot use this Spike or Xdrip.
You can't use Spike. Okay, I'm a bit surprised, but okay. With Tomato, at least you have the option to
Yeah.
calibrate,
Right.
and if you can push it to Night Scout, then you're okay. Okay, thank you.
There's one more question I just see. Just one moment, guys. I'll just come back to you. So I see a question about like, models about looping. So there is no hacking involved in looping, guys. It is just a loophole which you are using. That's all. So, I mean, it's not any hacking at all. So you do not lose any warranty or anything of that sort. So there is this small device. I mean, it can look in different colors as well. So it can look in different colors as well. So yeah, I mean, all you need is make your pump talk to this thing. So, and pump itself has an option to talk to this device. It's just like, they did not build secure enough during those days, in the olden days. And that's the whole reason, like, people are able to connect to the third-party devices. But whereas it comes to the newly model, new Medtronic pumps like 640, 620, they are secure enough and they cannot talk to this device. And yeah, that's where, like, the limitations are for the DIY loop to connect to these new Medtronic devices. Yes, guys, any questions? I think someone else was asking a question. Kapil, was that you?
Yeah, Anirudh, I just wanted to this thing. If I have if I'm using an NFC app to read the sensor, so can I use Diabox to to activate the sensor and get the readings on Diabox directly? Because I tried
Diabox can support accessing the activating the Libre sensor, but not the Libre Pro sensor. Kapil, can you mute yourself when you're not talking? I think there is a lot of echo coming from you. Yeah. So as I was telling, like, Diabox can activate the Libre sensors, but not the Libre Pro sensors yet. And also I know that I have heard of Diabox can as well extend the life of the sensor if you're using a Libre. But again, as I told you, like, Libre Pro is, no one has like, found a way to get the data of Libre Pro yet from all these DIY apps. So if we have coders, if we have someone who can understand Swift and C++, then yeah, I mean, you are the guys who can support the whole T1 community here.
I tried configuring the server and everything. I connected through GLIMP also, but GLIMP data is not coming on Night Scout.
I think maybe it might take some time, if I'm not wrong. It's been a while I have used GLIMP. Maybe even I'll try to, like, I'll try to work with Angad and see, like, even he had a problem just today, right?
Just try, closing the app, maybe restarting the app, and trying to refresh the connection it again. Sometimes it happens, but I think once it connects, it won't be an issue after that. Setting it up might be a bit.
Yeah, we will as well look into it. We'll see, like, is there any technical issue? Then maybe, we can address if any extra step is required on our recording link, which we are going to send it over. And do check. I mean, I think we have all your emails with us, but I think there was a problem today for many people. It went into the spam. Would recommend, every one of you to report it as like not spam. And also, like, when we send out, maybe we will be able to send out the recording link in 2 to 3 days time. Like, do check your spam box as well, just in case you do not see an email from us in 2 to 3 days time. What do you think, Saif? Can we wrap up the session? I think we do not have any new questions. Someone is asking 754.
Anirudh, one last question.
Yes, please. Yes, Kapil.
Yeah. This thing I was planning to buy a Bluetooth transmitter for my daughter, who is a type 1 diabetic. But the only problem is, this thing. I guess only Bluecon is available, and Meow Meow or Bubble is not available in India. So in
See,
that
I
case, will
guess
you recommend?
I guess Bluecon has been I don't know exactly I mean I would never recommend Bluecon to someone else. If you do not have any other option, then yeah, I mean I would say, because I think even I have talked to a guy, Girish. I think he's there on the call as
He's
well.
here. Girish is here on the call.
Girish, yeah, he's using Bluecon, and yeah, I mean his primary reason to end of the day, his primary reason to buy Bluecon was because he was not able to get hold of Libre Pro reader, and Bluecon can activate the sensor. So, I mean, the whole motto was about activation issues and all these things. So, I mean, end of the day, he made his decision and went for a Bluecon. But if you already have a Libre reader, I will say, find some jugaad to get the Mayo Mayo. And Mayo Mayo is actually available. I mean, you can order it from from their Chinese website or European websites.
It's also the
I
pandemic, Anirudh, so it's a little, I mean, imports and, delivery is a little
yeah.
challenging at the moment.
No, I mean, even now, actually, I mean, I've heard of people even now getting from the European Mayo Mayo website, which is basically mayomayo.eu. So mayomayo.eu, if you order it from there, you will get it in 2 to 3 days. But the problem is you end up paying 6 to 7,000 rupees extra as the customs duties for our Uncle Sam, Narendra Modi ji.
Bluecon, I have used Bluecon that is not working properly. Please don't buy Bluecon.
Are you using the new version of it?
No. It's actually older version.
The new Knight Rider works quite well. From what I've not used it personally, but from what I've read a lot.
I also read that the new Bluecon Knight Rider does not have those problems which the older one has.
Yeah, again, it's been almost 1.5 2 years, guys. I've used Bluecon, so I cannot come again. It still has few limitations. What I know of, it cannot still connect to Night Scout. I mean, for me, Night Scout is religious. If there is no Night Scout, I'm out of it.
The Knight
Girish
Rider
has texted in saying that it does connect.
It does
To
connect.
Night
But in simple
Yeah,
terms,
that's what he said.
if you have the patience, I know Bluecon is available in India directly. You can buy it on Amazon. But if you have patience, the price difference between a Bluecon and a Meow Meow is not that much. I think $3,000 or $4,000. Go for a
No,
Meow
there is
Meow.
no difference at all. There is no difference at all. Literally speaking, the price wise, it is literally same.
Okay.
In India, at
last I
least. In
checked,
India,
there
at
was a
least.
difference. So, but
In
personally,
India,
if you can, I agree with these guys. If you can go for a Meow Meow, it is far more hassle-free and far more reliable as compared to the others. But yeah, there was a question. I'm sorry. I noticed the
This
question
is
at some point of
I
time
absolutely
for.
agree, guys. This is not a sponsored forum. Like we paid through our own pockets and tried multiple devices. So this is an honest forum. Like people are talking from lived experiences. So no offense to anybody or whatever. The whole point is to have honest conversations based on lived experiences.
In any case, if you buy a Meow Meow, you get a €10 discount that you can share with your friends, and you get 10 or €20 as well. So that is the sponsorship part, but nobody is going to share the code with you. So
Vikram, are you with MM? Then find a way to ship it for us.
you can't use it on the EU website. You can only use it on the Cool website. But what you can do is go for a Meow Meow primarily because it's reliable and it's far more used than the other ones. But this is a personal choice. I use the Meow Meow too, but if you feel that it's a bit expensive, don't hesitate to go for the Meow Meow 1. It's much cheaper, and it is, if you're using it with Glimp where you can calibrate and stuff, or any other application, it has a better battery life, and it's a little bigger, but that shouldn't be a problem. It has a better battery life. That's what's important. For me, the 2, it ends after 7 or 8 days, and that's a very annoying. I have to charge it while it's on my body. But it's if you can't afford the 2, if you feel you can't afford the 2, don't hesitate to go for the 1. It's equally good as long as you use it with not Tomato but something else which can calibrate it.
So Praveen asks, how about Bubble? Bubble as well is very good. I mean, even compared to Bluecon, I would still recommend Bubble. But again, it's not as good as Mayo Mayo in my personal experience. So again, like, if you are getting some crazy discounts on Bubble or some, you have like it readily available somehow.
Or someone's
then
giving
yeah,
it to you for free.
yeah, don't mind to go for Bubble. But yeah, it's like, my personal preference is Mayo. Either one or two, as Vikram said, like, doesn't matter which one.
Okay, we have clear fans in this house. I mean, of course, understandable.
And
Guys, at
Angad
1
has
o'clock,
Angad has one article as well written about Mayo.
Yeah.
He as well, like, and a blog, basically, not article.
Yeah,
He has his own blog with his personal experiences. So
should
which
follow
is
Angad on
worth
Medium.
a look.
Angad, can you please share the link again?
Yeah, I'll just post it here.
And if you guys write about tech, I mean, please feel free to like share the link in the chat box. I mean, we would love to read you.
Okay. One last question. See, if this Mayo is attached to my sensor, will I able to use phone NFC in order to scan the values?
Yes, you can still use your reader. You can still use your GLIMP and all together. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, can
All
we
right,
wrap,
then.
you guys?
Yeah, I think let's stop the recording now.
Thank you very much, guys, for your time.